Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Ais and in this video I will explain about how to teach English to young learners. So in this video I will explain about the principles of the EYL, method, approach, and technique in the EYL, how to teach different skills to young learners, teaching EYL using games, song, and stories. And the last one is issues of the EYL in Indonesia. So I will explain about principle of the EYL first. Principle of the EYL consists of 4 points. The first one is implicit learning. In here, children learn language naturally through their experience. So, for example, in this section is using storytelling or picture books. So in here, students will understand about the sentence structure, not explicitly learning grammar, but in understanding the storytelling. And the next point is contextual learning. Language should be taught in meaningful contexts that connect to real-life situations. So in here, we must connect the material with the real-life situation that actually happened in the real time. So for example, is role-playing. So students must role-playing, for example, in hospital. The first student is become a doctor and the next one is become a patient. So they can make a conversation based on their experience in real-life situation. And the next one is learner-centeredness. The child is the center of learning and the teacher acts as a facilitator. For example is TPR or total physical response, and specifically in games is Simon Says. So the teacher just giving the instruction to the students to make the action of the instruction. So the students just act what the teachers say. And then the last one is meaningful learning. New language must be connected to students' prior knowledge, interests, and daily lives. For example, show and tell. So in this section, the students must bring their favorite toy or their favorite food or anything. So in the class, they will present about their favorite things. So it will be more easier for students to explain because that thing is what their likes. Next one is approach, method, and technique. Approach is a general idea of belief about how learning happens. And for example, behaviorism believes learning occurs through repetition and rewards. Behaviorism is the part of approach. So in here, the rewards, motivation, and model pronunciation is important, and it suggests to repetition. So the teacher must repeat the words again and again in order to students understand about the words. And then the next steps is method. Is a systematic plan or action for teaching that comes from an approach. So after we make an approach, we can specifically in method. So in this section is about the action of the approach. For example, is TPR, where students learn by listening and doing physical movements. As I said before, that TPR is also part of method. And then next steps is technique, a specific classroom strategy or activity used to implement a method. For example, using a listen and do activity like Simon Says to practice vocabulary. After a method, there is a technique. So the technique is a strategy that implement from a method. So it will more specific. Now we move to the how to teach different skills to young learners. The first one is listening. Can teach listening through listen and do activities. that are short, repetitive, and supported by visual aids like picture, gesture, and facial expression. For example, the technique is using songs. For example, shoulders, knees, and toes. And then the students must hear the song and then do the activities that include in the song. Next is speaking. Teach speaking by balancing controlled practice with free activities using formulaic language and giving shy children individual opportunities without pressuring them to speak. Example is the class is divided by two groups, and then one into another group must be make a conversation about the topic, and then at that time the shy students will be more brave to speak because it's just among friends. And the next one is reading. Teach reading by focusing on meaning from the beginning, using whole sentences reading, illustration, and encouraging silent reading for pleasure. For example, in this section, the teachers must read about a story, and then the students must see the story that given by the teacher, and then they point to the teacher says in the story. Then the last one is writing. Teach writing by starting with controlled activities like copying and matching, then moving gradually to free writing with gentle correction. So for example, in this section, the teacher will give a word about animal or anything, and then the students must write about sentence or word that relevant to that animal or that things. And then we move to the teaching EYL using games, songs, and stories. Stories explore children to new language, revise vocabulary, and practice all skills through memorable characters and repeated language patterns. As I said before, that with reading we can understand about the sentence structure without explicit any grammar rules. Then the next one is songs. Songs help children remember words and patterns easily, add feeling and rhythm, and practice pronunciation, stress, and intonation. In song, we can more easier to understand about the sentence structure because we can learn it through the rhythm. That the rhythm is easier for us to remember. And then the last one is games. Games provides a non-threatening environment for learning, keep children active and engaged, and combine playing with language practice. It will be more easier too because it's such fun activities. So the children is learning with fun. Then the last one is issues of the EYL in Indonesia. There is 5 issues in Indonesia. First one is policy and curriculum, teacher competency, resources and infrastructure, learning psychology, and instructional execution. So I will relate it into my experience, especially the teacher competency, because in my elementary school era, I just learned English with my homeroom teachers, not a teacher with English background. So the activity just writing and remember the vocab without any strategy can do. And I think it's not effective because we don't understand anything and the teacher is just giving the task. So yeah, that's so sad because the teacher just teach the students without any encourage to students, and it must be solved by the policy and curriculum. So yeah, that's all for my explanation. Thank you for your attention and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.